All right, so we're talking credit cards. If you pay for something with a credit card and you do not pay your balance off after the first little, grace period of usually it's about a month, you are charged a finance charge. So this is, bad interest. It's basically, your penalty for not paying off your loan on time. So basic idea is that you have an APR, right? An APR is an annual percentage rate. And notice the key word there is annual. Well, when you are paying credit card bills, you pay those bills monthly. So to find how much you're going to pay, we have to take that APR and that second letter should be a P. Here we go. And we're going to divide it by 12 because anytime you have something annually and you want to make it monthly, you simply divide it by 12 and that makes it a monthly percentage rate. Okay, so that is how we find the rate of which we are paying interest. And of course, it will depend on how much money we have carried over on our card. So, but a big thing that I want you to recognize is that you will not be charged a finance charge if the entire balance is paid off before the due date. So, every month I use a credit card. I put groceries, I put gas, if I go out to eat. I do all of this stuff on a credit card. My bill comes, and let's just pretend that my bill is $689.41 on the due date. If I pay all of that, then my balance is zero, and I don't owe any finance charges. However, if I only paid like $200, then $489.41 would be my carryover balance, and this is what I pay interest on. You only are charged a finance charge, and you only pay interest on the amount that you don't pay before the due date. So everything else is like forgiven. It's like an interest-free loan for that short period of time. If you don't pay it off, that's when they slap you with interest. So let's find some of that. A finance charge on a balance of $1,000 with an APR of 16.99%. Okay, so we start with our APR. We change it to a decimal because we know we can't play with percents as percents. We need them to be decimals. And that's an APR. We need that to be monthly. So we divide by 12. So this piece right here is our monthly interest rate. Well, we multiply that by the amount of our balance, right? Our carryover balance. Whatever you didn't pay before the due date, that's what you're paying. So when we do that, we will end up with $14.16. So basically they're saying they charge you an additional $14.16 for borrowing that $1,000 for longer than a month. All right, so every month that goes by that you don't pay off your entire balance, you'll be charged interest, right? So you're just giving them money. All right, so now we're going to look at an APR of 23.99% with a carryover balance of $16.50. So I take my percent and I divide by 12, right? I make my APR and MPR, go to monthly, and then we multiply by our carryover balance, which is $16.50. That gives me a finance charge of $32.99. Every month when I get my credit card bill, I'm like, man, I don't want to pay that. But then I calculate what would the interest I would pay, and every time I'm like, I don't want to give them, in this case, like $33. I can do a lot with $33, not just give it to somebody else. All right, let's keep the same balance, but let's lower the APR. So this APR was 23.99. Now we have 15.99. So let's look at what a smaller APR, what that will do to your interest. So when we multiply, we will end up with a finance charge of $21.99. So what's the difference so when we had a 23.99% interest rate, our finance charge was $32.99. When we had an interest rate of 15.99%, so 8 percentage points difference, it was $21.99. So the difference is roughly $11. So the way you get a lower percentage rate is by having good credit. If you have good credit and you can get a lower APR, you're going to pay less interest, $11 less on the same carryover balance. So if you're going to carry a balance, you want the lowest interest rate possible. That way you pay a smaller finance charge. All right, last page. Let's do a little work here. So if the credit card balance is zero, what should the finance charge be? Well, if you don't have a balance, then you don't have a finance charge. So a zero balance is a zero finance charge. Okay, number two, the credit card has an APR of 17%. What if your balance was $100? Okay, so we take our APR as a decimal, divide by 12, multiplied by our balance. and we will get a finance charge of $1.42. And yeah, it's possible that they'll be that small, $1.42. And you might say, well, that's nothing. Yeah, but as they get going, right, that adds up quick. Okay, now if we plot that on a graph, for a $100 balance, we have a finance charge of 142. So 142. It's a little bit hard to do. Okay, and remember that up here we had 0, 0. Oh, look, there it is, 0, 0. Okay, so let's find the finance charge for the rest of them. So if I had 200, so for every one of them, I'm taking APR divided by 12, then I'm going to multiply by each balance. So for 200, I get 283, rounding to the nearest penny, 425, and 567. So if we plot these on the graph, 283, 3, 425, and 400, 567. These appear to be linear. Now, if it's linear, we can write a model if we have the slope and the y-intercept. Well, our y-intercept is when x is 0, so our y-intercept is just 0. Slope is how much does it go up every time? So what's the rate of change? And so if you look, what is the difference between all of our values? They all increase by about $1.42. So my constant rate of change is $1.42. So my model would be y equals $1.42x plus 0, which is just 0. And there you go.